Wagwan, everyone.
Here we go.
Here we go.
We're back for another episode of Jofo in the Ring.
Yep.
And to the right of me, as always, we have 8 to the tracks.
What?
What are you doing?
Whoa.
It's the show.
Hey, take it easy. Take it easy.
It's the wrong day.
It's the wrong show.
It's Tuesday. It's not Monday.
Let me just take my belts.
2020, right?
2027.
2020. Get the fuck out of here.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
The wrong show. Oh my God.
Here we go for another edition of Jofo in the Ring. And yes, my name is not 8 to the Tracks, is not Tico Leak. My name is Frank Jofo, and this right here is Kyle the Spoiler Morin. What's going on, Kyle?
What the hell just happened?
I have no idea.
Oh, we turn our backs for 5 minutes and they invade?
Turn my backs for 5 minutes. I've been gone for 2 months, and this is what happens here. I get replaced.
I mean, whatever floats their boat, I guess. What are we doing today?
We are reviewing the Summer of Owen, 1994, King of the Ring. Are you ready?
Are you ready? This is what kicks off the Summer of Owen.
Because we're basically, what we're doing is we reviewed WrestleMania 10, which was in 1994.
Yep.
And obviously, everyone knows WrestleMania 10 had the big opening match with Owen versus Bret Hart.
Best opening match of all time.
And to see that match happen and nothing for Owen Hart not going in the main event, because Bret Hart did beat Yokozuna for the title, right?
Yeah.
We needed something for...
Owen needed a win.
Owen needed to...
Bret took the loss, but he won the title at the end. He looked great doing it. Everybody went home happy. It was a good pay-per-view, but that was the last episode we did. Now we're on to King of the Ring 94.
But going into the King of the Ring 1994, did you think realistically that Owen Hart had a chance of winning the King of the Ring?
Razer Ramon was my pick.
So it was in 1994. It was 20 years ago. But just to say, he was on fire, Owen Hart.
It's on fire.
So the first
It
round...
was like Bam Bam Bigelow's ring gear.
the first round match...
Lloyd Banks wrote a song about him.
Really?
We on fire.
Whatever you say. But,
Anyway.
but even at that, Razor Ramon was on top of the world too. But like you said, I think he had a chance of winning. There was Owen Hart that had a chance of winning. 1, 2, 3 Kid, I don't think had a chance. Realistically, the underdog story, but
Jeff Jarrett didn't have a chance.
Jeff Jarrett didn't have a chance. Realistically, it was Owen Hart's tournament to win.
Yeah, it was his.
It was his. So let's get back to the action here.
Back to the action.
The first round match, the first match on the card here, we have Bam Bam Bigelow versus Razor Ramon.
And I just want to point out, just before we get into that, on commentary, we got Gorilla Monsoon, we got the Macho Man Randy Savage, and we have Art Donovan.
I saw that. Who was that?
He's a football guy. You're a football guy, right?
I never heard of that guy before.
Neither have I. But anyways, he shows up a lot in the episode because I don't think he watched wrestling ever once. I think
Okay.
they just literally handed him a check and said, "We need you here.
We need a third.
you
We
just
need a
to talk.
third. We need a third man here.
Just kind of chime in."
Okay.
I guess fucking
Weird, eh?
Well, Jerry Lawler was wrestling, so he couldn't do the commentary that night. So they brought in Art Donovan. But
It's true.
we're gonna talk a lot about it because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I'll tell you that right now.
But in 1994, I don't think we noticed it as much as we would today in wrestling, right?
yeah,
With
well,
these-
no, we're cynical now.
Yeah, exactly.
We
We're used to the 3-man team too and everything,
Yeah,
but
back then we had our lives ahead of us.
we were spoiled with
were-
Gorilla Monsoon. We had
hopeful.
Bobby Heenan back in the day. We had Vince McMahon. So just to say, and then honestly, Razor Ramon, probably another guy that should have won a championship in his career.
Long list of
and
guys.
never did, right?
Long
So
list of
Owen Hart's
people.
on that list, obviously, for sure.
Yep.
Razor
Mr.
Ramon, you
Perfect.
could put on there, Mr. Perfect, which I think we do see in this pay-per-view as well, Mr. Perfect.
No, he didn't make an appearance, actually.
No?
I think he was out. I think he had an injury or something, but you know what, though? This card was stacked top to bottom, so he as Mr. Perfect has always missed But we had enough talent here to make sure that he wasn't missed.
Tell me something. Bam Bam Bigelow, he main evented WrestleMania 1 year, right?
WrestleMania 11.
Okay, so
the WrestleMania that they were leading into.
Okay.
Is he got the main event against Lawrence Taylor?
Okay. Because obviously in this first round match, Razor Ramon does beat him to advance to the next round. But bigger things on the horizon for Bam Bam Bigelow in the end, because, and that's another thing. It really inspired me when Brooklyn Brawler told me this on the recent episode to you guys, that he built stars basically to the point where he told Ultimate Warrior, you were going to lose tonight. So basically, and everyone knew that if you faced Brooklyn Brawler, you were going to win, right? So all of a sudden, they flip the script and they say, hey, Brawler, you're going to go over on the Warrior because we want to see if he has a good attitude. We didn't know these things back in the day.
No.
We just thought, okay, and it was like, wow, Brooklyn Brawler beat Ultimate Warrior. That's insane. But the backstory to say Ultimate Warrior was okay with it, good attitude and everything, and then they kept on working with him, right?
Yeah, they wanted to see if he was humble.
Same thing. What I'm trying to say is maybe it was the same situation with Bam Bam Bigelow, maybe. That, okay, take this loss.
Yeah, but
and then
we'll make it up to you.
And we'll make it up to you. Another example of that is Jinder Mahal. That's probably the biggest example of them all.
Not only that, but he had Bam Bam Bigelow in the opening match against Razor Ramon. I'm sure he had a harder time than when he wrestled Doink and fucking Dink back in Mania 10. Hashtag Dink is down. But Razor went over, and up next we had Mabel, who would go on to win the 1995 King of the Ring.
Okay. So that's another example of
against IRS
being a company guy, and let me take the loss now, and hopefully things will be better in the future. But
used to be with was it Mo? Mo, I don't know where Mo's went. I guess Mo had to go.
Well, Mo, they had the match with the Quebecers, right?
Yeah,
at
Mania 10.
At WrestleMania 10.
PCO and Jacques Rougeau. They're not the Mounties. They're the Quebecers.
I'd love to see you in that outfit one day, man. That'd be hilarious.
Let me tell you something. Right time, right place, right amount of money. I will do anything.
Back to the action.
To the action. We got IRS versus Mabel. Now, IRS no longer in a tag team with Ted DiBiase at this point. He's just running around telling people they're fucking tax cheats. And now, as someone who doesn't pay taxes, I hoped he was getting his ass kicked every time he stepped foot in the ring.
Did you just admit you don't pay taxes?
I'm kidding. Wink.
But you know what? IRS was a great heel.
Great heel.
Believable heel. And I guess trying to build the face character of Mabel here, who better to face him than IRS?
Exactly.
And for a big guy, you could wrestle, eh? Mabel.
He was a big guy. He was a little stiff because he injured a lot of people, though.
A.K.A. Viscera.
Big Daddy V.
Big Daddy V. But he was a big boy, man.
Rest
Holy
in peace.
Moly, yeah. Rest in peace to Mabel, yeah. But after this, for me, this match, I don't know what to say anymore. Yeah.
No, this was a good match. At one point, Mabel gets caught in a small package by, I guess we can't call it a small package, I guess we call it a large package. IRS rolls up Mabel in a large package, Mabel rolls IRS up in a large package, and IRS kicked out. Can you imagine being wrapped up by a 500-pound man, and then you got to kick out?
It's still 500 pounds.
It's 500 pounds.
It's 500 pounds. Look at that. My God. But it's just, that's if anyone doesn't know, that's Bray Wyatt's father, right?
That's Papa Wyatt.
That's Papa Wyatt. Rotunda, if that's
Mike Rotundo. Yeah.
But
great character back in the day.
Great character, great gimmick, and it only made Mabel a better wrestler by facing him. And you know what? It could have went either way, but I think wrestling wise, they made the right decision.
IRS ended up winning the match, however, because obviously wrestling logic back in the day, you couldn't really do face versus face. You could do heel versus heel sometimes, but it needed to make sense, and it was usually to get one of the heels to turn into a baby face.
Okay, because back then there wasn't a lot of
because kayfabe was alive and well back
exactly.
then.
It was still alive.
Yeah, it was still going.
Alive.
The curtain call was 2 years away, I believe. So
okay. Wow.
It was still Undertaker is a dead zombie. Bad guys don't ride with good guys.
Yes.
All that come see, come saw.
You're still not hanging around with your friend that is a good guy because you're a bad guy kind of deal, kind of thing. And that's the way it was. And it's a shame that it's not like that today, but I don't think it would work like that today because I think internet just spoiled everything.
We ruined it. We need to know everything about everything now.
It's true.
It's
pretty sad.
Yeah, it's we're an impatient generation.
Sad.
What do you expect?
So you're telling me that IRS wasn't involved with Money Inc. anymore?
Well, Ted DiBiase was gone at this point.
Okay.
He does see right here. We have the large package, and he kicks out. He kicks out.
Imagine IRS had to do the work on that too, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. But IRS, he's a Schyster, like his fucking last name says.
Irwin R. Schyster.
Irwin R. Schyster. Greatest acronym ever. So at one point, Mabel gets on the top rope or the second rope, which is very out of character. Like, why would you do that? Who built that ring?
And on the outside, that's Mo, right?
That's Mo.
Okay.
And IRS shakes the ropes. So he falls, jumps on top of him, hooks the leg, grabs the rope. 1, 2, 3. Go home, Mabel. We'll see you next year.
Okay, you know what? Because that's it's not a clean win, but it's a dirty win. But hey, he used the tactics to his advantage, IRS, and you got to give it to him. Great heel work right there, right? So
fantastic heel work. You got a squeaky clean monster baby face. How else is IRS going to beat him?
Because a guy
underhanded tactics.
If you look at the tail of the tape and you see how big Mabel is, the girth and everything,
He's a big boy.
It's a big exactly. So you kind of think that he's going to go over on IRS, right?
You would assume,
but. And at this time, there was a lot of big men, too, in WWE.
A lot of big
Vince McMahon loved the big man.
But that's the thing, though. They weren't muscle big men.
No,
because
they were just savage.
This was after the steroid thing. So everybody was natural. If you notice, they said the new generation about 100 times throughout this entire pay-per-view, just to let you know that fucking Hulk Hogan was gone.
Okay. And they got rid of that mantra of steroid use and
no more warlords, no more barbarians.
Everyone's wearing T-shirts and shirts and stuff. They're not showing their bodies anymore because
everyone's wearing singlets and long pants. It was a wild time, but yeah, IRS gets the win.
One thing I remember about this one here significantly, because every time they go to the back for the backstage interviews, we get to see Todd Pettengill. And we talked about Todd Pettengill before.
We did talk about Todd Pettengill.
And thank God we did, because it ended up helping James. Maybe the idea of getting Todd Pettengill on his podcast, and look at what James did. He ended up getting Todd Pettengill. That's amazing. The #1 podcast in the UK, the 90s wrestling podcast. Go check it out. James is on fire. The guests he gets, my God, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. Go check him out on YouTube. You will not regret it. That 90s wrestling podcast. Hi, James.
#1 podcast in the UK. But we're the #1 podcast in Montreal.
Hey, some people say that. You know what? It could be true.
Everybody's saying it now.
It could be true.
I was outside yesterday, and people were like, oh, my God, is that Kyle Moore? I was like, yeah, it's me.
Is that the spoiler?
Is that him? What's he doing here? But
going on now, back to the action here. And you were saying the next match is?
Tatanka. The Native American Tatanka.
My God.
Versus the Rocket, Owen Hart.
Tatanka.
Remember Tatanka?
You know what? It's I don't know what to say about Tatanka, because that's something that obviously would not work today.
No, I don't think so.
It'd be shamed. It'd be like, why are you doing this
for? He's actually native, though, so he can pull it off.
But that's what it was, right? That was the whole narrative around it, that he was actually native, and it was okay for him to do it, because obviously, I'm sure he was okay with it.
Well, I'm sure.
Not like if Vince McMahon had a gun to his head and say, you're gonna be a Native American.
Yeah, and he was probably like, I am a Native American. He's like, oh, I thought you were Spanish.
Not like Yokozuna, that I for the longest time, I actually thought he was from Japan.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, he was Samoan the whole time. So
exactly. Well, it's like,
just to say.
So we have a backstage interview. We got Jim Cornette. We got Fuji. We got Crush. And we got Yokozuna. Now, like I said at the WrestleMania 10 thing, the only reason that Crush and Yokozuna are a tag team is because Crush is being billed as he's from Hawaii. And then when he turned heel, Vince McMahon probably looked at him and said, oh, well, Hawaii's close to Japan. Put him with Yokozuna. Give him Mr. Fuji as a manager.
Because Crush wasn't, what I remember, he wasn't the best on the mic, right?
He was okay on the mic.
He looked the part.
But
he wasn't great on the mic, as like Yokozuna wasn't a guy that did promos either. So what do you have to do? You have to put the two best managers with him, that are great on the mic. Mr. Fuji just has to stand there with that face.
And the Fuji dust.
And the Fuji
the one that's going to make an appearance.
And you have probably one of the greatest managers of all time, Jim Cornette. Like him or love him or hate him, he was one of the best.
Sexy Eddie's favorite manager of all time.
And he was on your top 5 as well, right?
He was. I believe he was number 4.
3. 2.
No, not 2. Not 2.
Well, Bobby Heenan was number 1.
Yep. Paul Heyman was number 2.
Number 2. So it was either
And if
Jimmy
you want
Hart,
3, 4, and 5, you better go check that video out because I'm not giving it away. I'm not spoiling that for you. I'll spoil everything else. Regardless of the sabotaging that goes on in this studio, but I'm not going to get into that today.
Yeah, that's
we'll
for
talk
another.
about that another day.
That's for another day. I think Selecta Brew had a hand.
Who?
Had a hand in that.
Selecta Boo?
Mr. Prod God himself. But anyways, back to the
action. We got Tatanka versus the Rocket Owen Hart, the King of Hearts. And
for me, this is on paper. This is going to be a great match.
Great match.
It's a great match. 2 great wrestlers. Owen Hart.
Look at Owen Hart. Looks like $1 million. And funny enough,
bad guy here, right?
Taking off this pay-per-view was on Father's Day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember there was a lot of backstage interviews, and he was thanking his father or something like that, and those kind of words. But
because at that point, Stu was disappointed in him for turning on Bret
for what he did at
for what he did at the Rumble, for what he did at Mania. Well, he didn't do anything at Mania. He just outsmarted his brother.
Exactly.
You can't get mad at that. The excellence of execution was excellently executed.
That's well
by the
said.
Rocket
That's
Owen Hart.
Well said right there. Well said right there. And honestly, this match here, this is like I said, if you are aware of what's going on in the wrestling world in 1994, you know that they're building Owen Hart maybe to become a champion in the future, but they're building him for the credibility that maybe one day, if he does go for the title,
one of the top heels in the company at this point.
And a great heel at that, too.
And he got a built-in story with his brother. Bret won the King of the Ring the year before. Now Owen's coming in, and he's trying to make his name.
This is the second annual King of the Ring?
The second annual with a tournament.
Okay.
So they had the King of the Ring, but there wasn't a tournament.
Okay, so Bret Hart won that first one,
He won
right?
the first tournament.
But there was other ones before that, right?
Not a tournament, but
Okay.
there was a pay-per-view,
Okay.
But it was just, saying your prayers, eating your vitamins, all that skeet and scat. Steal your line there.
The skeet and the scat.
The skeet and the scat. But right now we got the Native American Tatanka and Owen Hart. And
go look. Did you see who was in the ring for the referee right now?
It's Iron Mike Chioda right there. Best ref in the biz. More like Earl Hebner. Michael Chioda.
I was always a fan of Earl Hebner until I found out that he stole merchandise and sold it for his own. For himself.
I think he had business cards too for
something like that. I don't know, man. He was kind of like a weasel and everything for that. But
I found out though, apparently refs don't make all that much, and I think a lot of their stuff isn't paid for. Like they're traveling their cars, that's out of pocket. So they're like, I think they make like $100,000 a year.
They don't make that much.
30 grand of that goes towards their expenses and all that stuff. So you know what? Hey, pay your people better, and maybe they won't have to have their own merchandise.
I'm sure about Earl Hebner. As good as he was, how many WrestleManias he reffed, main events, and I'm sure he wasn't making the 2021 kind of money,
Senior referee.
But that's what I'm saying. But at that time, I'm sure he wasn't making that much money compared to what probably referees are making today, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? So,
well, I'm sure $100,000 in '94 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Anyway, regardless, we got Tatanka teeing off on Owen outside of the ring here, and. As far as matches go, it's decent. Like Tatanka wasn't the best, I guess. He was entertaining. Like he had his moment where he'd Hulk up and then he'd hit the follow-away.
I think he had enough credibility that if you did beat him, it was you're on to the next step. Like when you play the video game and you have to face those certain guys to get to the next stage or the next round of wrestlers. Tatanka is one of those guys, and that says a lot about Tatanka because you know what he's credible enough to say, hey, if I beat Tatanka, I'm just a bit better to go on to the next stage of my life for you.
But also, Owen already has a win over Bret.
That's the thing, man. That's the thing. In your back pocket, you have a win versus Bret Hart.
You have a win over the champion, the current champion.
So do you think that he needed to win this King of the Ring?
I think he wanted to do it just because Bret did it.
Okay, so then and
he was trying to prove that he's the better Hart. Like he was trying to step out of his brother's shadow.
Man, that's amazing.
It was fantastic.
That's amazing, man.
And it was built in too. Like you have a wrestling family, and you have the jealous younger brother of the older brother. But is the younger brother better than the older brother? Who is the better Hart? We don't know.
That's an argument for another day, but there is no right or wrong answer for that. That's for sure. That's for sure.
I mean, and you got Owen Hart, who was probably the most loyal Hart because he never went to WCW. So,
well, he didn't have a chance to go to WCW.
I mean, he did, but he stayed put.
Well, he wanted to leave, but they didn't make him, right?
No, I think they told him no.
No, they told him no. So, yeah.
He wouldn't have been good in WCW. They wouldn't have known.
Well, it's like everybody else that went to WCW after the fact that, you know what, I think it ruined a lot of people's careers going to WCW. Whose career benefited by going to WCW from WWE? I think it was the opposite. A lot of people that came from WCW that came to WWE, it benefited them more to do that than people that went from WWE to WCW.
Unless your name's Hall and Nash.
Okay, maybe that's the exception because they were the first two.
Yeah.
Hogan was already there already, but
Hogan was already there.
Everyone else that came after was just another NWO guy.
Yeah, they just threw a shirt on him.
That's it. Throw a shirt on him and come out with us, and you're the 23rd member of the NWO.
Yeah, exactly. You get to be on camera when we make our 100-man entrance and we walk down the aisle, and we all get that 5-second camera time where we just throw gang signs. But we got Owen Hart with Tatanka in a chin lock. Now, the thing is with Tatanka, when he came in, he was undefeated.
Really?
Like, he was super protected. He had like a Hulk Hogan gimmick where he'd beat him down, but then he'd Hulk up, hit his finisher, everybody would go home happy. But then he got destroyed by, what was it, Ludwig Borga. You remember that guy?
Ludwig Borga. It sounds familiar. I can't put a face to that name, but that's a pretty crazy wrestling name.
Yeah, they pushed that guy and buried Tatanka, and I guess he was never the same after that. But
well, you know what? That's what it is. You can't stay on top forever, right? So you get into that zone of where you're going to be for the next 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Tatanka, he was never realistically going to be a WWE champion.
Nah,
but
I don't think
if he thought he was going to be that, then I don't know what he was thinking. But his role in the company, like bring it back to Brooklyn Brawler. Brooklyn Brawler probably realistically said, I'm never going to be the champion, but I know my role and I could perfect that role and I could do good with that role and I'll get respected for what I'm doing in that role. So
Owen ended up getting the win on that.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. Beats Tatanka. Decent win. Moving on. We got Double J versus the 1, 2, 3. Hey, folks, Double J here. That's JEFF JARRET.
I always wanted to do that, but I always screw it up, though.
Ain't he great?
And Jeff Jarrett at the time.
Who had a better strut, Jarrett or Ric Flair?
Oof. Wow. You know what? I got to go with my boy Ric Flair, but Jeff Jarrett had a close, like he had it down packed as well.
He had the strut, he had the figure 4.
And he had the hair. Look at that hair, too. He had the kind of the Ric Flair. Do you think he was trying to be like a Ric Flair or country style?
To be Ric Flair back
country
then.
Style.
Coolest guy in the world, Ric Flair.
But he was a good wrestler, too, Jeff Jarrett. I can't take anything away from the guy. As much as I wasn't a big fan of Jeff Jarrett back in the day, but the guy could wrestle.
Yeah.
And he was a credible bad guy, credible heel, so...
Great guy.
You have the ultimate underdog that he went against was the 1, 2, 3 Kid, and
literally the Daniel Bryan before Daniel Bryan.
The match with 1, 2, 3 Kid versus Razer Ramon, did that already happen already? The upset on
yeah, because he's already the 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Okay.
So when he came in, he was the Lightning Kid, and then he got a win over Razer, and then they started calling him the 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Imagine that. Hey, that's great on Razor Ramon's part to say, you know, let me put my friend over, and it actually, you know what? I think because of that, it helped 1, 2, 3 Kid's career immensely. That's for sure. Because in the end, he's just another small guy, right?
And it didn't hurt that he could actually wrestle.
He was a good wrestler as well.
Like they're having a hell of a match right now. They're telling a hell of a story. At one point, it's mainly Jarrett who controls the action in this match because the 1, 2, 3 Kid tweaks his knee at one point.
Okay, that's storyline wise, or
you'll have to stay tuned. Okay. But they have a great match. 1, 2, 3 Kid was great back in the day because he was doing shit you didn't see. Like, obviously everybody now is doing all this stuff, but back then you're like, oh, is he throwing spin kicks?
He's doing spin kicks and little hurricanranas and stuff like that. I think maybe I don't even think Owen Hart was doing that to a point though. No, it was.
I mean, he was doing enziguris, and I'd never seen those before.
Yeah. So just to say, it's a first, and you're getting all excited to see it, and
he's doing sentons off the top.
He's not
hitting them, but you know he's blessed his heart. He's going for him.
Jeff Jarrett, that hair. Jesus Christ. But back to the action here. 1, 2, 3 Kid pulls off the victory over Jeff Jarrett. Yeah. That's an upset.
That is an upset.
That's an upset.
Because I thought for sure Jarrett he was working over the knee. He was going for the figure 4, but he got too cocky. The kid caught him.
That's Jeff Jarrett in a nutshell right there, right? Cockiness and, I'm the best and nobody could beat me. But putting another guy over like 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Exactly.
There's stuff that we didn't notice back in the day. That's the thing, right? Like we're watching this and like, 1, 2, 3 Kid beat Jeff Jarrett, fine. But a lot of things go into play. Yeah. Jeff Jarrett beating 1, 2, 3 Kid. Maybe having that match 10 times. Maybe that one time he wins is this one here at King of the Ring. But normally, Jeff Jarrett should win this match against 1, 2, 3 Kid.
But also, back to what I said earlier, if you look at the brackets, it's all bad guy versus good guy. So a bad guy advanced. The winner of this match would go on to face Owen. So you can't have heel versus heel.
So basically, if you were smart enough to figure it out back then, which I don't think we were smart enough to figure it out.
Just like, it's wrestling.
Because it was normal, good guy versus bad guy, right? But nowadays, if you know that a good guy is facing a bad guy, and like the situation here, I'm going to put my money on Jeff Jarrett. 100%.
Well, exactly. And you see him here. He's working over the knee. He's calling for the figure 4. Yeah. He's being arrogant as hell. And boom, there it is. 1, 2, 3, Kid wins.
Another roll-up. Did you notice that? That's another roll-up, eh? Hey, that's another roll-up. And Jeff Jarrett's pissed off, and he takes it on the 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Wow.
Jeff Jarrett style, so.
I'm going to wear Jeff Jarrett's outfit next time we do the show.
It's a pretty extravagant outfit, though, I have to admit. It's flashy. It's like, look at me, I'm Jeff Jarrett.
I think Bruno has one in his closet.
I wouldn't be surprised, but going on now.
That's Bruno, everyone. Capital B, double O. No. All right, up next, after Double J, we got Bret Hart, who's backstage, and he's being interviewed before his match. And it was funny because he says that he's fighting Diesel for the title, and Diesel has HBK in his corner. And Bret said, I need to have someone in my corner. I have a backup plan. And I'm going to make sure, and I wrote it down because I don't want to screw up what he said. He's like, he said he's been a victim of injustice before and he'll never let it happen again. And he's absolutely right because he was never screwed over again because Montreal was an inside job. Okay. So moving on. We got Bret Hart.
Going back to what you were saying, this is another thing. Because you were leading up to Jim the Anvil Neidhart coming to help him, right? That's what the whole...
Well, that's the thing. Bret Hart came out and he had Jim. That's who he had in his corner, Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
But he's asked... Because if I remember in WrestleMania 10, was Jim the Anvil Neidhart there?
No, we hadn't seen Jim the Anvil in a while.
Okay, so he hasn't been on TV.
So it was a surprise.
Okay, so it's a surprise. So now you're thinking, hey, he needs somebody in his corner.
Yeah,
he's got Jim the Anvil Neidhart, his brother-in-law, his former tag team partner. All should be good.
And it was.
Everything
was great. They had the match. Great match.
Yes.
Diesel wasn't the guy he was going to become.
He was the Intercontinental Champion, eh? So it wasn't title for title. It was just for the WWE Championship, right? Yep. Okay.
So great match they had here. Bret Hart beating the hell out of... Well, Diesel beating the hell out of Bret Hart, and honestly, who could sell a beating better than the Hitman?
There is nobody in the business that could sell catching a beating better than Bret Hart.
No one takes a bump like the Hitman.
No, that's for sure.
Except for me. I'm kidding. But no one takes a turnbuckle to the sternum better than the Hitman, though. Nobody.
Man, unbelievable, man.
Not only that,
and he had HBK in his corner. So you think they were where's the whole story with HBK coming along after this event? So is he?
Well, it's his buddy. It's his big buddy. He wants to help him out, right? He wants to help him win the title.
Because the last pay-per-view, which was WrestleMania 10, he had the infamous ladder match with
Razor
Ramon for the Intercontinental title, right?
Yep.
And now his good friend has the title now, right? So
Bodyguard beat Razor for the belt. And now he's going for the world title. Shawn Michaels in his corner. Diesel looking like $1 million. Shawn looking like $1 million.
Oh yeah, this is the what was I going to say, the pinnacle of Shawn Michaels being that arrogant piece of shit that everybody remembers, and now obviously he changed his whole life around and he's not that person anymore, but everyone always remembers how he was back in the day, and he wasn't very liked, and a lot of people didn't want to work with him.
But hey, if you did work with him, boy.
But you know what? I think he was not to say he was allowed to be that arrogant, but I think he knew how good he was that, hey, you know what? Okay, you're going to punish me for being this arrogant or being this good? Because he was a part of a generation that the charisma, the talking, the wrestling, the look, he had it all. You know, the only thing that maybe is different than him and Bret Hart is that Bret Hart didn't sing his entrance song. But other than that, they were both good on the mics. They weren't big men like Diesel, but they could hold their part in a match.
Wrestle the shit out of.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So he was part of that generation that we didn't see at this point. You know, he was different. He was different because you didn't have guys like that.
No, you didn't have guys that can move around like Shawn Michaels that were flying all over the place,
off the cuff, and
he
just didn't know what he was going to do. In the end, he was what do you call it, loose cannon or?
He was unpredictable.
Yeah,
he was
a wild card.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we got Bret Hart. He's got the anvil. He's got the sunglasses. The music's going. Everyone's pumped. Everyone thinks the Hart Foundation's back.
Yeah.
Because when's the last time we saw those two tagging together? And if anybody's gonna be able to put Shawn Michaels in his place, it's Jim the Anvil fucking Neidhart.
Exactly.
Look at him.
Exactly.
It looks like he's wearing his gear from WrestleMania 5 still, but
storyline. And you think of it now, it's like the way you just said it. Nobody's gonna mess with Bret Hart because Jim the Anvil Neidhart's there. So Shawn Michaels is taken care of. So now it's just a one-on-one match. Jim has got Bret Hart's back. Yay, everything's back to normal.
The thing too, he pulled a swerve because at this point he had already had the Survivor Series match with his brothers. So everyone's asking him, who's going to be the surprise? Is it going to be Bruce? Is it going to be Keith? Is it going to be the other one, Jimmy Hart? I don't know. Is it going to be Jimmy Hart? Yeah. Who's it going to be?
One of the Harts.
No one's thinking about Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Yeah.
And it's the obvious choice.
It is the obvious choice, but because he
was
off,
the Bulldog.
But back then, when someone was off TV, he didn't have internet and the social media to say what's going on with Jim the Anvil. Like, could it be him? No, you just didn't know until you saw it on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And that's how you sell pay-per-views, by not knowing what's going to happen because people want to watch it. But nowadays, you know what's going to happen.
Well, that's the thing.
Beforehand.
Back in the day when Bret Hart on WWF Superstars said, "Hey, I got a surprise this Sunday," there weren't assholes like us around coming out with a show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube to be like, "This is who I think it should be." No, this is who I think it should be. It was wait till Sunday, pay your $39.95. Make sure your mom pulls out the credit card to buy it, and then you watch the pay-per-view to find out who the surprise was.
That's exactly how it was back in the day.
Here's what I like about this. Bret Hart, I got a story about this, actually.
Okay.
Bret Hart gives the kid the sunglasses. Now, I remember one time, years ago, I was at the Forum watching Bret Hart. I was like third, fourth row. I was like, I don't know, 8. And Bret Hart comes. All the kids rush the barrier.
Yeah.
Why? Because you want the sunglasses.
Yeah.
So I'm there. I'm waving. I'm trying to get the sunglasses. And I didn't get them. He gives it to this fat kid. And me being the asshole petty person that I am.
Oh, no.
The kid's like, I got the... So I gave him a pinch. And then I ran back, and he never realized it was me.
You hold it. Oh, my God.
I'm a
you know what? You're a sick man. That's what you are.
I was a heel back then, damn it.
So Diesel with this great haircut style that they had back in the 90s. What's that? The mullet?
The mullet Max over here.
Mullet Max. I think Shawn Michaels had the same kind of haircut as well.
They had the best mullets.
But yeah,
what was it the click in having mullets?
Well, that was the hairstyle back then, so I guess it was normal.
Yeah, but look at Bret, though.
Well, it was long hair.
Well, we didn't have mullets in Canada, I don't think. They didn't show up yet.
No?
I don't think so. Maybe not in Alberta.
Back to the action.
Back to the action. So, like I was saying, Diesel beating up Bret, but Bret can sell a beating like no one's business.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's best there is, best there was, best there ever will be for a reason. And in the end, Jim the Anvil Neidhart pulls some shenanigans, and he clotheslines Diesel, costing Bret the match, but not the title because, as everybody knows, title can't change hands on a disqualification.
Yes. Because he hit Diesel in the ring to get the disqualification and walked away to the back, right?
Took off, yeah. So Bret gets disqualified, doesn't lose the belt. Diesel now has a win over the champion because of interference. Not the way Bret wanted to go out.
You know what's funny is that you notice back in the day, every pay-per-view ended with the WWE title on the line, right?
Yeah.
This one here was in the middle of the card.
It's the third match.
It's the third or fourth match. So just to say, they really wanted to showcase Owen Hart in this pay-per-view, which is great to see.
Well, I guess because it's the King of the Ring, they wanted to do it. But that's the thing. The King of the Ring, it ended, and then we had another match that had nothing to do with the King of the Ring.
Oh, it was the Roddy Piper, Jerry Lawler match.
Jerry the King Lawler versus Roddy Piper.
We'll get to that later, that's for sure. Because we're big fans here of Roddy Piper. And we have some kind of connection with Jerry Lawler because of the whole Montreal when he had the heart attack and that. I think you were there. I think Jeremy was there as well.
Was there too.
I'm sure Selecta Brew was there somewhere in the cheap seats.
Buying popcorn, I think.
So Diesel hasn't become the world champion yet, right?
Not yet.
Okay. So this is another building stone for him to say the credibility.
Yeah.
Because in the end, he didn't lose clean. And the way he lost, he still has the credibility of being the Intercontinental Champion, the big man of the WWE. Plus, Shawn Michaels is there as well. And Shawn Michaels didn't wrestle in this event either, right?
No, he didn't. He was helping out his buddy.
Could have been easily a King of the Ring winner as well, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised he never needed it.
But that's
I don't think
that's the main reason there. That's the main reason. You just hit it on the head right there.
If you look at all of the King of the Ring winners from '93 to 2002, with the exception of maybe Billy Gunn and Bret, they're all up and coming wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like if you look at it, right? '93 was the Hitman.
It's basically a reason to.
'94 was Owen Hart.
Basically a reason to push certain wrestlers and give them that credibility.
'95 was Mabel. '96 was Austin. '97 was Triple H. '98 Shamrock. '99 Billy Gunn. 2000 Kurt Angle. 2001 Edge. 2002 Brock Lesnar.
Jesus.
With the exception of Bret Hart and maybe Billy Gunn because he was around a long time.
Yeah.
It's all up and coming wrestlers.
It's true. It's true.
Well, maybe Owen too because he was around a while too. But you know what I mean. Guys that needed a push.
Yes, the obvious, not the non-obvious push. So basically, instead of just putting them in that main event picture, you're giving them that King of the Ring win.
Yeah, you're giving them a little rub.
Telling everybody, hey, he won the King of the Ring. Yeah. Look at this guy. This guy's for real.
And back then, when you won the King of the Ring, you didn't have to become a stupid fucking king for
I think it
6
was
months
more,
on TV like you do now.
With King Corbin and...
King Booker. King Booker's fine. Leave him alone. He's the exception to the rule because he's King Booker.
King Booker.
Booker!
You never thought that...
The champion of the world.
Jerry Lawler winning the King of the Ring, that would have been...
Well, that's why he debuted. He beat up Bret Hart in '93 because he was the king.
Oh, man, I miss the 90s wrestling, man.
So here we go. Bret Hart telling a great story. He's going to knock Diesel down to his size. What do? You go after those tree trunk legs of his.
Figure four.
You hurt the knees. What happens when you take out Diesel's knees? What do you take away from him? The jackknife power bomb.
It's true. That's great. It's true, man. That's storytelling 101 right
Brett
there.
the Hitman Hart right
That
there.
is Bret the Hitman Hart right
Scott
there.
Steiner couldn't put that kind of match together.
There's no chance, Scott Steiner. What was that? There's somebody talking. You know
what was that? Did you hear that?
I thought I heard something.
But yeah, no, Bret Hart was an amazing storyteller in the ring. And I encourage everybody, if you can, go to the, I believe it's Survivor Series 95, Bret versus Diesel again. Diesel's the champ. Great match. Great.
I'm going to check that out. That's for sure. That's for sure. I'm going to check that out. So this match ends in a disqualification. Do we kind of know that Jim the Anvil Neidhart tried to help Bret Hart by disqualifying him? Or do we kind of tell, like, oh, maybe he's going to turn on
It looks like
Bret
he just
Hart?
got mad. Like he just got fed up and ran in the ring. Because later on in the pay-per-view, you see Bret Hart in the back looking for him. And you don't see Jim the Anvil.
Yes.
So, and then it goes to the next match. So
see, that just solidifies that what we were thinking. Maybe we weren't thinking that back in the day, but it's just telling you that Bret Hart's looking for Jim, so he's not happy that he did that, right? Exactly. What happened? What's going on? Why did you do that? Exactly. Which is great storytelling on the WWE's part in 1994. God, we were spoiled, man. But
oh God, I mean, we got Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels in the middle of a card.
Yeah.
Bret Hart versus Diesel with Shawn Michaels in the back.
Yeah.
In the corner.
You didn't even need Shawn Michaels to wrestle in this pay-per-view.
Not only that, but you got You got Macho Man Randy Savage on camera.
Yeah.
On commentary. You got Gorilla Monsoon on commentary.
Yeah.
You got this guy Art Donovan who doesn't know where he is on commentary. Exactly. It was weird. I don't know. But here we got Bret Hart. He was wrapping the knees, still working over the knees. He's whipping them around the ring post. He's doing heel moves.
That was his thing. Hey, the wraparound on the knees and you see.
There we go. Jim's getting mad. Oh,
Yeah.
look at him go, eh?
Wow.
He is quick. God damn.
He was a big guy too.
We got Jim the Anvil just chasing HBK around the ring, and he is gunning it too.
And you know what? He's keeping up. He's keeping up.
Shawn Michaels was probably just like, oh, he's not going to catch me, but that's Jim the Anvil Neidhart right there. He'll catch you. He'll get you.
So out of the blue, then like I said, the disqualification happens, and to see, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of disqualifications unless they make sense, which in this sense it did.
Yeah.
But I like to see a clean win or a loss, but in this match, after you look at it after the fact and years down the line, it was the right move because the storyline that they were trying to tell with Jim the Anvil Neidhart helping Bret Hart.
He screwed over his brother-in-law.
Exactly.
At that point, everybody thought that they were friends because they were former tag partners.
Exactly.
Their brother-in-laws, their family, you know. He turned to, who do you turn to get your back? You turn to your family, right?
Yeah.
And it backfired on him. It sucks.
It really backfired,
It
yeah.
happens. What can you do?
All right, let's go to the next.
All right. So anyway, like we said, Bret Hart loses the match by disqualification. I would have been fine with Bret winning, but at that time they were pushing Diesel. And I feel the only person that should beat the Intercontinental Champion is the WWE champ or the WWF champion, because
Yes.
yeah,
I saw you playing the wrestling game a couple of episodes ago. What's the deal with that?
Well, that's the thing. So I bought it. We haven't played it yet because the system doesn't work.
Okay.
However,
on
June 15th, 2021.
Wow.
At 1231 St. Catherine Street West at Esports Central.
Yes.
I will be there. You're going to be there.
Of course.
Jeremy might be there.
Well, he better be there because I think
he called me out. So if he ducks me, I'm sorry. I'm taking this.
That's not the Jeremy's thing to duck people. So I'm sure he will be there. And you know what? I will be there as well at Esports Central. What's that address again?
1231 St. Catherine Street West. What do they have there? They have everything you need to play any game you want.
Do they have beers there?
Oh, they got beers.
They have mixed drinks.
They got mixed drinks. They got food. They got gaming consoles. They got arcade consoles.
Wow.
They got the Atari. They got the Super Nintendo, the Sega, the Dream. What else do you want?
And this is at 1231 St. Catherine Street West.
1231 St. Catherine Street West.
Write that address down.
Esports Central, Montreal.
And if you mentioned Jofo the Ring to the bartender there, does anything happen? You get a free drink or something?
Well, maybe. You'll have to come to find out then, huh? Maybe you show up. Maybe I'll give you a free spoiler.
I like video games. You know what? I'm gonna come pass by.
Games,
That's for sure.
We'll play some video games together.
Beer and video games.
What more do you need?
What more do you need?
What more do you need?
Back to the action.
So up next, we got Razor Ramon versus IRS.
Second round match.
Second round match. Great match. Razor Ramon. He's already wrestled.
Yeah.
So is IRS.
Yeah.
In my opinion, IRS had the tougher of the first round opponent.
Well, seeing Razor Ramon advance to the second round, now you're thinking, does Razor Ramon have a chance to win this King of the Ring? And I honestly think that's what they wanted you to think as well, because maybe they realistically Owen Hart, but you would realistically think that Razor Ramon was going to win it, right?
Well, exactly. And at one point, they say that Art Donovan had picked Razor Ramon to win the tournament.
Who?
Exactly. And then when they brought it up to Art Donovan throughout the broadcast saying, hey, your pick was Razor Ramon. And then when Razor Ramon's in the ring, he goes, yeah, where is he? So he didn't even know who Razor Ramon fucking was.
That's amazing.
But, you know, he picked.
Razor Ramon advances, and then it segues to the back, because the story we were talking about before with Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, because we still don't have the answers.
We don't have answers.
What happened? Why did Jim the Anvil Neidhart do that?
Yeah.
So we see Bret Hart looking for Jim the Anvil Neidhart in the back, and obviously he doesn't find him, so life goes on. So we're going to see what happens with that throughout the show, but that just to say that they're prolonging the storyline and telling us, hey, maybe Jim the Anvil Neidhart is not Bret Hart's friend anymore, or there's a controversy, but
you can't find out.
You can't find out.
You know when you have to find out? You had to tune into Raw the next night.
Or what was it at the end? Didn't he come out with Owen Hart at the end?
I mean, I was saving it for the match. We can cut that, though. We can cut that.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Okay, so Razor Ramon ends up being victorious, goes to the...
gets past IRS to the finals.
And he's awaiting the winner of
the 1-2-3 Kid versus Owen match.
Owen Hart.
Which was a great match because you got the 1-2-3 Kid and you got Owen Hart, both innovators.
Yeah.
Both guys could wrestle like hell. Owen Hart catches 1-2-3 Kid with a hell of a power bomb.
Crazy.
He's already injured because of the knee and the attack from Jeff Jarrett. So what does he do? Rolls him into the middle, locks in the shooter, turns him over.
Textbook sharpshooter.
Textbook. And what does he have no choice to do?
Tap
he has
out.
to tap.
Tap out.
Moving on to the finals, we got Owen Hart versus Razor Ramon for the King of the Ring, for the 1994 King of the Ring.
And thinking about it right now, sitting here, I'm like, I wouldn't be able to pick a winner.
Who would you pick?
Because you know what? They could have went any way they wanted to. They could have had what they did with Owen Hart.
Yeah.
And then if Razor Ramon would have won, it would have been a whole different game for Razor Ramon. Maybe he could have became a WWE champion down the line. So maybe not winning the King of the Ring screwed his push.
Well, I mean, you got, in my opinion, the number one bad guy at that time versus the number two good guy.
Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon being Bret Hart being the number one good guy because it's the Hitman, it's the 90s.
Yeah.
So, and moving on, we had a great match with those two.
Yeah, but Owen Hart, like we've said millions of times, Owen Hart could have a great match with anybody on the WWE roster at that time, and at that time. So imagine what he could have done in today's. It's such a shame. It's such a shame what could have happened with Owen Hart, but
I know.
Hey, rest in peace. What do you want to do? And then we have the next match is the tag team match.
The Headshrinkers.
The Headshrinkers
versus Yokozuna and Crush.
So just to tell everybody right now, the Headshrinkers were Samoan, right?
They were Samoan.
Whose uncles and fathers were they to the wrestlers of today?
So we got Rikishi. Well, at that time it was Fatu.
Rikishi was one of the Headshrinkers. Who was Fatu?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was the father of Jimmy and Jay Uso.
Okay.
Don't ask Roman Reigns who's who because he's not sure.
He's the uncle to Roman Reigns, right?
I think they're cousins.
Cousins. Let's call it cousins.
It's a big.
Let's call it cousins.
It's a big kerfuddle.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Let's call it cousins.
Yeah, okay, they're all.
And then
cousins.
the other one was
Samu. I'm not sure whose dad or mom he is.
Probably cousins with them as well.
Probably cousins.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Wouldn't be surprised. They're all related.
Okay.
And then we got Yokozuna and Crush.
Okay.
Hell of a tag team right there.
Because Crush had one of the most disappointing matches I find in WrestleMania history was that one there with Macho Man. It made no sense. I still can't fathom what that match was, and obviously they changed the rules of the falls anywhere.
Yeah, I don't even think they had rules for that match anyway. It was weird. It
was weird.
You pin the guy on the outside, and then you got to run back to the ring, and that guy has the count of 10 to get back to the ring. What's the point of the 3 count?
So what do you think the whole thing around having Crush with Yokozuna was, to maybe someday push Crush to?
I think they just needed a month. They
just needed somebody
together. Nobody was doing anything, so they
Yokozuna
just stuck them together just to keep them on TV.
Okay.
I mean, they both had 2 great managers, so sky was the limit back then, right?
Well, that's the entertainment factor right there, right? Having Mr. Fuji on the outside with Jim Cornette with that racket.
The loaded racket. So you got to worry about the Fuji dust. You got to worry about the loaded racket. You got to worry about the cranium crunch or the cranium crush.
A lot to look after over there, that's for sure.
You got to have a head on a swivel when Fuji and Cornette was out there. Let me tell you what.
Oh, my God.
So we got Piper. He's cutting a promo about his match with Jerry Lawler. He goes on a lot. It's an okay promo. Piper was the master back then of the mic.
After watching,
great shape.
After listening and hearing that story of the Brooklyn Brawler, that he told the story of Piper, that he told you, and then knowing Piper as the wrestler that he is, this is a guy that would fucking brawl with 20 guys, no problem. He wouldn't give a shit. But his background, what was going on mentally, and what he was doing behind the scenes, we just didn't know about that, right? Because probably the guy was. You think he was on steroids, Piper?
Piper, I I don't think so.
Because he was a savage.
Even in the 80s, he didn't. He was big, but it looked. I don't know what 80 steroids would do to you back then if they just made you puffy. But he was a big guy though.
Yeah.
I mean, look at him in that movie They Live. He was huge.
And he looked tough too. Like he looked the part. Like Jeremy always says, you have to look the part. And
he's from Winnipeg.
Because if I would see him at a bar and he would want to start with me, all of a sudden I think I would shrivel up and say, "Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't do nothing," But
well, look where he's from.
Well,
how many great Canadian wrestlers have come out of Winnipeg?
That's another thing too. I didn't know he was Canadian until the longest time. But that's like you said, another great Canadian. A lot of great Canadians on this card. If you're keeping tabs,
a lot of great Canadians coming out of Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Winnipeg, Jesus Christ.
Kenny Omega?
Who?
Huh? What?
So what goes on in this match, Kyle? This tag team match, was it for the title?
It was for the titles, for the tag titles.
So the Headshrinkers were the tag team champions.
Headshrinkers were the tag team champions at that point. They had Afa and I believe Captain Lou Albano in their corner. Yeah, Captain Lou.
Captain Lou.
The man
Babaloo.
Babaloo. the dad from the Cyndi Lauper classic, Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
So me, realistically, I'm thinking we're going to have new tag team champions here.
I mean, you got former WWF champion Yokozuna in there.
And you want to push Crush because that's the direction they're going with this whole duo, this tag team here. But
and then you got two schlums against Yokozuna. You obviously think, oh, Yokozuna can handle these guys
by himself
because he's Yokozuna. Look at him.
Yeah.
And he's got the Fuji dust out there. He's got Cornette. But yeah, no, they actually did a good match, and it's funny because they're all cousins.
It's crazy. Hey, if you really think about it, it's crazy. They're all family in the end, except for Crush.
What's funny about this match is if you listen to the commentary on it, and that Art Donovan, he's just going off about how big Yokozuna is. The guy's lost. He doesn't know where he is.
That's Vince McMahon telling him what to say for sure. That's a guarantee.
I'm surprised McMahon wasn't on commentary for this.
So in one of, if you remember, Season 2, Episode 7, Z-Rock with Joey Quesada, that's when Chris Jericho appeared in that episode, and Big J Okerson was Captain Lou Albano, the manager. And he looked like, I don't know if he looked exactly, but he played the part beautifully. I think he had like an elastic on his, what was the whole thing with the elastic? I have no idea. Why did he have an elastic?
Cocaine's
on
a hell of a drug.
Anyways, back to the action.
But yeah, I like the Headshrinkers as a tag team. They were vicious.
Scary.
I liked them better when they were bad guys, personally.
Well, you can't have these type of wrestlers. You can't have these guys as good guys.
No, they weren't better as bad guys.
You're more likely to be afraid of these guys when in '94 than cheering them on. Like, no one was cheering Undertaker when he came in because everyone was scared of him. So the automatic thing to do is to boo him, right? Headshrinkers too.
Don't even boo them. What if they hear you?
But that's what I'm saying.
That's why I never booed Jazz when I saw her live. I was terrified.
Scared, but, oh man. But yeah, this is like more or less the early version of the Usos, if you could put it into perspective here.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's kind of like the last time they depict Samoans as like mindless savages. I guess they started to get a clue that you can't do that to people.
But Vince McMahon loved the Samoan guys.
Yeah.
He loved these guys. He did a lot for them, and I think they were very grateful for what he did for them. And stand-up guys, company guys, and you know what? Look at it now. Look who's on top of the world right now. The tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
Head of the table.
He's the head of the table.
And that's the tribal chief Roman Reigns, not Devin Clark from Clark Street Wrestling, just if you're paying attention at home.
I think his last name is Stevens, if I'm not mistaken.
What did I say?
Clark.
Devin Clark.
Devin Clark.
We can cut that.
Well, we could call him Devin Clark.
We can call him Devin. Devin Clark Street. Devin, I love you. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Going on now.
Moving on. We'll cut that, Bruno. Yeah. So we got Yokozuna going in first. What has he got? Samu in the corner? Is that Samu?
Samu. I can't even tell which one it is.
Fatu in the corner. Now they're fighting each other.
Savages, right? Like you said?
Because, and what's the rule? What's the rule? You never headbutt a Samoan.
That was the rule?
That was the rule. They could take it.
Because they're savages.
Because, I don't know. I guess Samoans had harder heads. But there's
Ooh!
Yokozuna.
I always
Japanese at the time, so he couldn't take the headbutt.
Unbelievable. Yokozuna falling out of the ring always gets me going. I don't know, like,
oh my God!
No. Imagine the how much it hurts, and oh my God, man,
that plays a part.
Man.
That plays a part here because Yokozuna doesn't recover.
Really?
Because he gets the double headbutt, and it fucks him up. So Yokozuna, he does not recover from this. He takes the double headbutt from two Samoans. And he's wobbly. You could visibly see it.
Well, the way
he shook.
He shook, and he fumbled out of the ring there under that's above the second rope, and you could see him right now. He doesn't look like he knows where he is right now.
No.
For real. Like, that's...
And now he's back in the action. Him and, I believe it's Fatu. They're going at it. Crush on the apron. They're slugging blows. Oh, he slapped him in the face.
Ooh,
going for the slam on Yoko. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There's only one guy who's slamming that man.
I used to do that back in the day with Danny Malazzi. Because it was very comical to see a small guy trying to slam a big guy, and then the build up of when it does happen, I do it 10 times, and that 11th time, oh my God, you know what I mean? And then he falls on me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
We always used to do that back in the day.
Like Hogan Andre.
Yeah, exactly. But Yokozuna doesn't look like he knows where he is right now, and Mr. Fuji's a little nervous.
Crush is giving him a pep talk out there.
And who was the manager for the Headshrinkers? Do you remember his name?
It was Afa.
Afa.
Of the Wild Samoans.
Okay, and
Roman Reigns' father.
Yes, exactly.
I believe Afa is his dad.
Okay.
But, so Yokozuna, he's all messed up. Tags Crush in. Now we got Crush face-to-face with Fatu. Crush is a big boy.
Mullet.
Oh, God, I love the mullets back then. It's fantastic. just
Why does he give me a Lance Archer vibe, Crush?
I don't know.
I don't know. The look, maybe the build, the way he looks.
Look, he's quick.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. He's intimidating.
He had very good agility as well, Crush. Hey, he could go off the second or third rope. Maybe not do flips, but...
Especially for back then.
Yeah.
Takes a pile driver from Fatu. Pile driver.
Pile drivers were okay.
Yeah, they were fine back then.
They were fine, but they were...
But we didn't know about CTE back then, so it was kind of...
The Stone Cold situation didn't happen as well, right?
Yeah, but that was a botch. You can't.
It sucks that it had to happen with Owen Hart, because Owen Hart was known to be the wrestler that when you wrestled him, you were in good hands.
Yeah.
So you didn't get injured. So just to say, the way it happened, it sucks, because that's something you'll remember because of Owen Hart. When you bring up Owen Hart, you remember that situation. But going on now, back to the action here. But this match, how does it end? This match?
Well, right now, Crush has Fatu where he wants him.
Okay.
So you find out that in the King of the Ring tournament, Lex Luger was in the first round, and Crush cost him the match.
Okay.
And cost him to be in the tournament.
Okay.
So at some point in the match, you're going to see Lex Luger make his way out.
Okay. Still pissed off about losing at WrestleMania 10.
Still not happy to be here. He's wearing one hell of an outfit, though.
What is that? Who's that outfit remind you of right now that somebody would be wearing right now?
The America outfit?
Who is it? He got it. He bought it at Cracker Barrel down in Louisiana.
Oh, Mr. Florida.
Mr.
Florida.
Himself.
Mr. Season tickets to NASCAR. Cody Rhodes, ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag anybody but Cody.
Oh, man.
Get yourself a shirt. So he comes out to the ring, and the announcers, Gorilla Monsoon and Macho Man, start to let you know that Lex Luger's out here because Crush cost him the match. And Lex Luger's mad about it. And after they get through explaining this, Art Donovan goes, "Oh, who's that guy in the America suit?"
Oh, my God.
And they go, "It's Lex Luger."
Really? So I'm sure when we do our next pay-per-view, I'm sure we're never going to hear the name Art Vandelay. What was his name?
Art Donovan.
Art Donovan.
Art Donovan.
I guarantee you that, because you don't get too many chances like that on.
You do not get too many chances. So after that all happens, Crush gets distracted. He gets the boot to the face. 1, 2, 3. They lose. Headshrinkers win. Moving on. Up next, we got...
So you think they were trying to make a storyline with Lex Luger and Crush, maybe?
Yeah,
for future...
100%. Well, at that point, Lex was feuding with pretty much Fuji and Cornette, too, right? So he had the feud with Yokozuna. He couldn't get the job done at Mania. He barely got the job done at SummerSlam 93.
True.
And, yeah, so that's what happens.
Okay. So now we have the finals of the King of the Ring, right?
The finals of the King of the Ring.
And we have
Razor Ramon versus
Owen Hart.
the Rocket, Owen Hart.
I remember they used to call him the Rocket a lot, too. Eh?
They call him in this,
obviously, they stopped at one point calling him the Rocket, but I always liked it when they called him the Rocket.
Yeah, no, it was a good name.
It was a good nickname they had for him, and then, okay, stop calling him that. Then they called him,
well, after the match, they started calling him the King of Hearts. So we had Owen Hart. Razor Ramon makes his entrance. Owen Hart makes his entrance. He stops at the entranceway. And then who comes behind him? Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
And we haven't seen Jim.
The brother-in-law of Owen Hart.
We haven't seen Jim since the Bret Hart situation, right? And we still don't have any answers of why he did that to disqualify Bret Hart in that match. So now we have Jim the Anvil Neidhart here.
And you pretty much...
What are you thinking now?
That's basically your answer. Hey, why'd you screw Bret? Oh, because I like Owen better.
And we all know Owen Hart's the bad guy. So he's with a bad guy now. So we're like, whoa, like, what's going on here?
Owen Hart's got some muscle. Is this, everyone's thinking, is this the new Hart Foundation? But it's not. It's Owen Hart with Jim the Anvil behind him watching his back. Because, hey, Owen, he broke away from the family.
Yeah.
He pissed everyone off. Who went with him? Jim the Anvil.
Jim the Anvil.
And later
It's
on,
true, eh?
and later on the Bulldog.
It's crazy to think, though. It's crazy when you think of it years later. It's great storytelling. I don't know. I know I've said that a lot in this episode, but it's just great to see great storylining, great wrestling, and everything just comes in like everything just forms beautifully. There's a lot of things like nowadays it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
They do a lot. They do too much. Here, it's very minimal, but it makes sense. It's beautiful storytelling. But continue.
Yeah, well, that's before the internet ruined wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
So, thanks, internet. So, Owen Hart, Razor Ramon, they have a great match. Fantastic. Not Bret. Jim the Anvil. He takes Razor, runs his head into the post, rolls him into the ring. Owen hits the big elbow. One, two, three. Bye, Razor. Sorry. Summer Owen kicks off.
And Owen Hart, you know what? And like I said, he wins the King of the Ring. Now you're literally crowning him the best right now.
The King of Hearts.
You are, and then the mantra, well, what is it called? The saying comes out. I am the King of Hearts.
Yep.
And it's great heel work. And I think, like I said, now that you look back at it, yes, they could have gave it to Razor Ramon. It would have maybe propelled him to bigger heights, but I think the best move was giving it to Owen and making him become the King of the Ring.
Owen was hot.
He was hot. They had
beat Bret.
Yeah.
He went through 3-4 people in one night.
Yeah.
He beats Razor, King of Hearts, King of the Ring.
Makes sense to me.
What happens next? Goes on to SummerSlam. Who does he face in a cage match? Probably one of the best cage matches of all time. His brother for the title. And we'll get to that at a later episode.
That's for sure.
But
and then the main
great pay-per-view.
So they crown Owen Hart the winner. Jim the Anvil Neidhart's there, obviously with him.
Yep. He tells Jack Tunney, "You're not putting the crown on me. There's only one man I trust to do it, and it's the Anvil."
There you go. That solidifies the Anvil as the bad guy.
Exactly.
And he screwed Bret. Well, he screwed Bret. He screwed Bret in that match to disqualify him, and that's it. Okay, so yeah.
Jim the Anvil, the only man to screw Bret. The only man.
And then we had this main event.
We had a main event,
which to me, looking back at it, I don't think it should have been the main event.
No, it should have. The finals should have been the main event,
Yes.
or the title match.
Because if you didn't put the title match, you should have at least put the King of the Ring final, right?
I mean,
to me,
if we would have went off the air with Owen Hart winning the title, winning the tournament.
Was Roddy Piper and Jerry Lawler that big of a storyline back then that it was worth it for them to put it as the main event? Like, I'm trying to figure out.
I mean, I guess so.
It had to have been because why would they have put it the main event on this card? Looking back at it.
I mean, if you look at it on paper, it's a great choice.
Yeah,
Roddy Piper, Jerry Lawler, two great talkers.
Well, Roddy Piper was Roddy Piper. Everyone knew who he was, right? He was still great. You didn't have the title. You didn't have those accolades of being the champion, but going against a great heel like Jerry Lawler.
Yeah. But you know what Roddy Piper did have?
What?
He never let Hogan beat him 1, 2, 3.
Really?
Now, well, back then.
Okay.
Back when Hogan was taking his vitamins and saying his prayers. He never got to pin. He never got to pin Piper.
Wow,
Piper
I didn't
said
know
no.
that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they mentioned that in that A&E documentary.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out.
You should. It's good. So they put on a good match.
Okay.
Piper comes out. You know, he's looking shredded. He's got the 8-pack.
You always looked in shape back then too, eh?
Yeah, he tells Lawler he came here to chew bubblegum and kick some ass.
Jerry Lawler,
what happens?
Probably
He's
one of
all out of
the best heels in the business at the time.
Great talker.
Great talker. Great wrestler as well.
Great wrestler.
You know, a lot of people don't talk how good of a wrestler he was.
No.
I know what's his name. I think Godfather said one of his first matches was with Jerry Lawler.
Yeah,
somebody else said that too as well. Somebody that I'm trying to remember. But anyways, keep on going.
Those Memphis guys.
Yes.
I mean, you got Memphis all over this card. You got Double J out there. You got Jerry the King.
Yeah, Jerry the King, Hall of Famer.
Roddy Piper, Hall of Famer.
Roddy Piper, Hall of Famer.
Almost everybody on this card is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. And he made an appearance on Joey Quesada's show, Wrestling with Joey Licious. Great show. Go check them out. Joey Quesada on YouTube.
And on Amazon Prime.
Check
that out. And check out his book, too, because that book, how good was that book? Wrestling with Joey Licious, also available on Amazon. Hilarious.
I can't wait to see what's next for him, because supposedly we're going to see season 2 on Amazon.
I'm excited.
I saw that he was doing some couple of things with Jake the Snake, so we'll see what's on tap for Joey Quesada. But yeah, like I said, go check him out on YouTube and on Amazon Prime as well. So.
Absolutely. So Jerry Lawler, Roddy Piper, they had a great match. Jerry Lawler was just ripping Piper to shreds leading up to the match. And what do you don't do to Roddy Piper? You don't throw rocks at a man who's got a machine gun.
You don't pick the dog. What's that expression? You don't poke the
Don't poke the bear. Don't
exactly.
poke the bear. But that's the thing. Jerry Lawler in his own right was a good fucking wrestler back then. He was a great talker.
Tough.
But he's not Roddy Piper.
No.
He's not the
Roddy
hot
Piper
rod.
was, I think, one stage higher than a Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
So
WrestleMania 1.
So obviously that match, we all knew what was going to happen. To me, that's a Roddy Piper win for sure, and that's what exactly happened.
I think that's why they put it at the end, just to send the fans home happy.
Okay.
You know, Roddy Piper.
They could have sent everyone home happy with an Owen Hart win.
Yeah, but he's a bad guy back then.
That's true. What am I saying?
Yeah, he was a bad guy
Wow.
back then.
Sorry. Excuse me.
You gotta have the good guys go over all the time. So Piper gets the win. Send the fans home happy. Overall, good pay-per-view.
Yeah. What do you give it out of 10?
I mean, I'll give it a 7.
Okay. You know what? I'll go with a 7. I'll go with a 7.
Give it a nice round 7.
I'll give it a 7. I was going to go with 6.5, but like you said, a nice round number there.
Nice even.
But it
number.
This starts the Summer of Owen.
Summer of Owen kicks off 1994
June
in the Baltimore Arena.
June 19th, 1994, he wins the King of the Ring. It starts the Summer of Owen. And the next pay-per-view, I'm sure we're going to learn a lot more about Owen, because they're showcasing Owen to maybe become the next Bret Hart, maybe, or the next WWE champion, WWF, sorry.
Or he's pushing him to be the Hart.
The Hart, yeah, exactly.
Hart.
So we don't know, but once we do our next pay-per-view, we'll let you know. So tune in for that. But I honestly liked the King of the Ring, and I hope that in 2021 and today's wrestling, I hope they bring that pay-per-view back. What do you say about that?
I mean, if they're gonna do it, don't do it as a tournament on Raw.
No,
have a pay-per-view. Pay-per-view. Make these schmoes wrestle a couple of times a night, like the old days.
And like how it was back then. It's like, what would it take for them to make Ricochet the King of the Ring, or Shinsuke Nakamura, or guys like that?
Yeah, do something with it.
Yeah.
Do something with it.
Do something with it to elevate somebody.
Don't just throw a crown on them and have them walk around for three months saying they're the king.
Because King Corbin won it, but what did he do for his career?
What
Nothing.
Happened? He fought Roman Reigns for 2 years.
That's exactly what happened.
All he did.
And he kept on losing and losing and losing, right? So maybe they could rewrite history with King of the Ring in the coming months, maybe in 2021. Or let's hope to see it happen. But because I think Shinsuke Nakamura has been screwing around with King Corbin and taking his crown. So maybe they're slowly trying to say they're bringing it back in a way. I don't know.
We're going to have Kingsuke Nakamura?
We'll see what happens. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in today for another edition of Jofo in the Ring. This was King of the Ring 1994. If you have a chance to go on the WWE Network and check it out, I advise you to do so. Great pay-per-view. And like we said, it starts the Summer of Owen.
Summer of Owen's kicking off, and we're here for it.
And if you're a big fan of Owen like we are, we're excited to keep the timeline going and look out for the next pay-per-view
review.
I'm kind of rusty still.
Paper review, I guess. It's a paper review. That's what it is. It's a paper review.
But yeah, look out for the next pay-per-view. And
so after the King of the Ring, we're rolling full steam ahead.
Yes.
For the Summer of Owen, because it continues at SummerSlam '94, which we are going to review. So stay tuned for that, because why not, right?
And you said there was a steel cage match in that one, or was that Survivor Series?
Steel cage match.
And I like steel cage matches, so I
SummerSlam.
can't wait for that one. So yeah, everybody look out for that. That's going to be coming up in the coming weeks. Like I said, we are on the Summer of Owen, so
stay tuned for it, because it's going to get hot.
It's going to get hot. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Jofo in the Ring. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so help us out. Tell your friends. Subscribe to our channel. Great content, clips, top 5, spoilers, and, of course, can't forget, Kyle's AEW review.
Sorry. Kyle's critically acclaimed AEW review.
Sorry.
The widely appreciated, critically acclaimed AEW review.
Everyone's talking about your reviews.
Everybody's talking about it. Tony Khan's listening. Sting's a bitch. It's wild. It's the best 5 minutes in wrestling you'll get.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm not a hater anymore of AEW, but I don't watch it anymore. I wait for your AEW reviews because I really genuinely enjoy them. They're amazing. Amazing. Comedy, entertainment, and to the point.
Exactly.
What more do you want than that?
I'll tell you what you want. We get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm doing the AEW review naked.
I saw that. I actually heard that as well. And I don't know, that's maybe a little bit more motivation for us to get to 1,000. Not
Guys.
that I want to see you naked, but...
Well, it's an audio-only review.
Yeah. The cat's out of the bag now.
Oh, there it is. Can't put the cat back.
But yes, like I said...
Subscribe right meow.
Subscribe to us on YouTube. And, of course... Our third man, our third co-host, Jeremy Prophet. Follow him as well.
The Jericho Award-winning Jeremy Prophet.
Yes, the Jericho Award winner, Jeremy Prophet. Follow him on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well if you want to get updates on what Jeremy Prophet is up to in this summer of 2021. And yeah, that's about it for me. And I can't wait for the next pay-per-view that we're going to be doing, SummerSlam 1994. And Kyle... curfew is over in Montreal, so does that mean comedy's coming back? What's the story?
Not only is comedy back,
Ooh,
but I'm back.
Oh, ho, ho.
June 20th
Whoa!
at the Brass Door Pub. Ladies and gentlemen, why wouldn't you want to? And limited tickets available.
Ooh.
There's very limited tickets because you still got to be safe.
Of course.
So hit me up, DM me. I'll get you a link. You get your tickets. I'll see you there.
I like that.
Wear your Morin 316 shirts. Wear your Jofo shirts in the crowd. Let me know you're there. I'll give you a high five.
Yes.
Why not? And yeah.
You know what? I'll be there too as well. But June 20th, I'll be there as well. I cannot wait to see Kyle back on stage doing comedy once again.
And remember.
Whoa. That's my thing.
Oh, yeah, you're back.
And remember, wrestling is life.